Okay, welcome to this lesson on line design. My students are doing a monochromatic unit and we're focusing on line and value. So in this particular lesson, my students are going to learn about 10 different types of lines, and then they're going to create a zentangle or a zendoodle to use the knowledge that they've learned. So first thing is, we're going to start off, my students are going to learn about 10 just basic simple lines. So the first line, very simple, is a straight line. Straight line. Then we'll talk about line number 2, a curved line. Next, a dotted line. Then, line number 4, dash line. And then a favorite, the zigzag line. Then we have intersecting lines, so we could have lines like that, or some hatch working. We have intersecting lines. Then we've got a variable line, a little bit hard to show with a marker, but a variable line might start off thin and then get thicker and thicker and thicker, and it's hard to show with a marker. Or it might start off a variable line light and then go darker, darker. Again, hard to show with a marker. That's a variable. Then we have a contour line, and a contour line may very simply just give us a shape. So a contour, that was supposed to be a question mark, looked like a mushroom. All right, so the contour line is a shape. Then we've got a continuous line. And then the last one's a little bit tricky. It's what's called an implied line. So if I was to do something like this, we do a body. The implied line is that there's a neck here. We don't actually have to add the neck. It's implied. Okay? So those are the 10 types of lines that I'm going to go over with my students, and then they're going to use that information to create their zentangle. Okay? So what I tell them, I have a piece of paper ready for them, and the first line they're going to work with is a continuous line, and they're going to take their line for a walk on the page. Now I'll have 2 different markers my students are going to use. That's going to give them different variable lines. Some are going to be darker, some are going to be thicker, and it gives us different value as well. So they're going to start, and I'm going to suggest that they take their continuous line for a walk on their page, and I want their line to touch all of the corners. And another rule is it has to intersect at some points, and during their continuous line it can be curved, it can be zigzagged. We just want to make sure that we are creating some different spaces. I'm going to do curved in there, take it out to the edges, and right off the page. So now if we look at the walk that my line has taken, it's created some different spaces. So now what my students are going to do is, in these different spaces, and using the knowledge of the 10 types of lines that we've learned about, they're going to go in here and they're going to create some designs. And they're going to complete all of those spaces, making a zentangle or zendoodle. Now I'm hoping this lesson is going to be relaxing for them, enjoyable for them. Maybe I'm going to do some intersecting lines here. So I'm only staying within that space that I've created, and I'm going to do intersecting. So I'm going to go this way. And if I wanted, I could do a color pattern there and color in some of those blocks as well. So that's intersecting, and maybe I'll do some shapes. So maybe another area I'm going to do some shapes, contour lines, which create shapes, some hearts, and I'm going to continue. So you can take a look at one of the samples that my students have done. You can see lots of samples of what we've talked about: curved lines, zigzag lines, contour, lines, dots. That person's done a nice job. And this person is just getting started, but doing a nice job, and I like the different value, filling in some areas darker, leaving in some areas lighter. There's another. Nice job on the value in this one. Nice variety of lines. Great. Okay, that would be my lesson number 2 that goes with my monochromatic unit for grade 4 art. Thanks.